Welcome back to the Means Report. We appreciate you staying with us. My thanks again to Commissioner Tony Lewis, and my pleasure to welcome our next guest, Charlotte Garnes. Charlotte Garnes is the Executive Director of ReNforce. Charlotte, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invite.
Well, you know, my first question to, you're welcome, first of all. My question to Commissioner Tony Lewis was kind of help me make sure I know which part of Augusta you represent. Help me understand what ReNforce does, kind of just as far as its overall mission. My perception is that you all help people who've been in jail or who have a conviction on their record by assisting them in finding a job. Is that kind of the short version?
That's the short version, pretty much, but that is a fair assessment.
Yeah.
What ReNforce is a nonprofit, and we provide workforce development to justice-impacted individuals. And those individuals can be anybody who hold a conviction, who's been in jail and or prison. ReNforce also work with businesses to provide training and support to businesses as they look to hire those justice-impacted individuals as they're transitioning into the labor force. And most recently, we launched Redemption House, which is a supportive house for women in South Augusta that provides that holistic support for women as they exit the prison and or jail system.
Sounds like a great approach. I know that you're seeing success in what you do. Why did you do this? What kind of made you think I need to pursue this? I understand it's rather personal.
Very personal for me. I am someone with lived experience, which means I have that I've been impacted by the criminal system. And what that looked like for me was I served 46 months in a federal prison. And once I exited out trying to reintegrate, once an employer found out about my conviction, they terminated me. And so for me, it's a personal mission to make sure justice-impacted individuals such as myself, when we're exiting the system or we're reintegrating back into the community, we have supports, that be it the educational support, be it the workforce development support, and the housing support.
Who is eligible? Is it anybody who has a record? Who can come to you?
Pretty much anyone who's eligible, because that opens it up. And what I mean by that is right now in the United States, there's 1 in 3 individuals who hold some type of record, criminal conviction on their record. So just imagine a lot of those individuals residing here. So it could be anyone with a conviction history, anyone with an arrest record, because what we're finding now in this area is businesses aren't hiring people who've been arrested and who have open cases. So that makes that population eligible.
What kind of skills, and I know we could spend the rest of the interview talking about this, but what are some of the skills, whether it's just through ReNforce in general or at Redemption House, that you can teach these folks to help make them more marketable?
So what that looks like is basic shifting the mindset, right? What that looks like, resiliency, workforce development, that involves interviewing skills, that involves helping them create and develop professional resumes, that involves just coaching. And I think people tend to forget that. They think once people get out, that's it. But it's an ongoing process, the consistency of being told no a lot. So that builds up that frustration. So that one-on-one coaching, that one-on-one counseling, providing a trauma-informed curriculum, conflict resolution, problem solving, those types of things that we know individuals are going to need, hard and or soft skills that allow them to transition into the workforce successfully.
Do people still have to check that box? You know, do you have a conviction on your record? Is that box still out there?
Unfortunately, it is. Georgia is a ban-the-box state, and specific businesses and locations here in Augusta are ban-the-box state, which means they've taken it off. But we have some private employers who continuously ask that question, and is discriminatory, for lack of a better word, because it prohibits that individual from getting that sustainable employment.
And I want to fly through these questions because I'm fascinated by what you're sharing. People don't know this. What is there a typical job that people who come to you are getting, a typical field, or is it wide ranging?
It's wide ranging, but what we're noticing based on the economic development here in the CSRA region, a lot of people are transitioning to the manufacturing.
Okay.
Because the manufacturing, they're welcoming. Also hospitality. But we're also now tapping into welding. There's the skill that a lot of people are wanting to go into because they know it's sustainable and they're able to not focus on their background, and they make the money that they need to be able to be successful. Also construction, that's really big here as well. So I would say those are the skills for a lot of women. There's healthcare, phlebotomy, and also cosmetology and barbering.
Charlotte Garnes with ReNforce, what are some of the apprehensions that companies have? Is it this person is going to hurt me or steal from me if I hire them? What's their deal?
That's pretty much it. This person is going to steal from me or take from me. Or, it's just the whole notion of you're a convicted felon. So therefore, you're going to always remain that way. And one thing we encourage businesses is to look past that conviction, right? Mm-hmm. And also, too, to educate them on that there are benefits to hiring someone with a conviction. And those benefits are tax breaks. Those benefits are federally, the individuals that come into your labor force, they're federally bonded. And also, the retention rate is higher for those who are with a conviction history because there's a sense of loyalty because you've hired them and they want to make you proud. So even with that, is educating the businesses to understand like there's a lot of support and there's a lot of benefits to having someone work within their labor force.
What about companies that don't push back, that are welcoming? Are you experiencing that kind of reception from a lot of the businesses here in the CSRA?
I think that's 50-50.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Sure.
And that's why ReNforce is working in the arm of making sure businesses understand the supports that are out here for them. We have some businesses that are like, hey, yes, definitely give us those individuals. And we have some businesses that are very hesitant. And sometimes they don't even want to have that question. So ReNforce, we're really pushing the envelope to sit down and have conversations, have open conversations with businesses, asking them, where's the hesitation and how can we support that?
Ms. Garnes, I know you've been doing this long enough to see success stories. Mm-hmm. Kind of pull back the curtain on that. What's that look like where someone is just in their darkest hour and then they fast forward to the part where they're getting paychecks and they're happy, and I suspect their employer is happy? Oh,
yes. I've seen success on all realms. And when I say all realms of someone who's just as impacted getting that first job and getting their first check to the point of where they're able to provide for their children and their family. I've seen businesses who have not, well, I don't know if I want to do that. And they've taken that chance and they've thrived because once that person has been a success, of course, that person tells the next person, hey, they hired me. So it's a continuum of things. And I've also seen it at Redemption House. I have someone, she was homeless for 8 years and now she's thriving. And just to see that total transformation in less than 6 months, it lets me know that the work is definitely needed, but as many people focus on the negative, there's so many more positive stories that don't continue to be told.
Well, it sounds like ReNforce and Redemption House and everything you all are doing is just taking off, and I hope that it continues to grow and thrive. How can we help you? What can the community do other than listening to what you've said today and spreading the good word about ReNforce? How can we support you?
I think the biggest thing for ReNforce right now is if you are a business owner or you're in the realm of hiring people, reach out to us. Yeah. Contact us because we would love to partner with you. We would love to truly help you elevate your labor force and also give you the untapped talent that is needed for people to thrive as businesses. Also, we would love to have volunteers for advocacy. We're getting ready to see an election year come up, and also with that, just advocacy around voting, because what people are having to understand now and what they're asking about is, if I hold a conviction, can I vote? Yes. So we would love for the advocacy work to take place, and also donations. We would love community type donations to help for people to be invested in what we're doing, because the work is needed here in the CSRA region.
Well, you are putting in the work big time, and as is the entire team at ReNforce. Charlotte Garnes, thank you for what you do. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. The door is always open. I learned a ton, and I know our viewers did too. When we come back, we're going to show you how you can help us get more great guests like Charlotte Garnes, like Commissioner Tony Lewis. People love to learn about things that they might not know that much about, and we can help make that happen with your input. We'll show you as the Means Report continues.